Greetings, this is Sean, and today I'm going to be putting things into the Colonial Carpenter's workshop. This is the Large Wheel Lathe. I decided to go ahead and paint it real basic brown. I did a little black wash on it too, just to kind of do it as a base coat basically, and then put the brown over the top. There's actually a little bit of copper in it too. I did manage to turn a little piece of black ebony there that's on the actual lathe itself, and I saved some of the shavings off of it that I'll put down as sawdust later on. You won't see me actually doing that. I just end up doing it in between, camera and whatnot. Also, for some reason, I don't know why, I thought I was in video mode on my overhead cam, but evidently it was only in picture cam, and the picture itself that ended up being taken didn't actually come out. So anyway, everything you'll see is from this angle. I apologize for that. I wish I could go back and redo it, but as you're seeing right now, I'm starting to glue everything in place. So anyway, I tried to make this the best I could with the angles that I've got. So I at the end I do some different pictures, or not pictures but videos of using my 360 camera that I have. Actually, that's what I'm using here, is my 360 degree camera, although I'm only using one lens, so you're only seeing 180 degrees of it. But this was the trickiest bit, was trying to get everything all lined up to where that lathe would work. It could have been done a lot better. It's really not meant to be moved. It can move and does move, but it's all really wonky. I could have spent a lot more time. Should have probably also spent a lot more time actually working on this and making it better. But it's just a model, so who knows? I may end up doing this again. Not sure. We'll see. It turns it when the piece is not on, but when I try to put the piece onto the spindle, it presses up against that little piece that's on the inside, not on the outside that's got the string on it, but the other part of it. It pushes up against the piece of wood and binds, and so that's why it doesn't turn very well. I probably need to put a little piece of plastic or something in between, but like I say, I'm not going to bother with it. Here I'm just marking where I'm going to glue it onto the floor, and I'm applying glue, obviously. There it is there at the bottom. And I'm not going to put, there are a lot more things I should say than I am going to put into this scene, but not right now. So I'm just putting the basic stuff in. There's actually another bench that I could probably make and put against another wall, but I haven't done that yet. And I did put in a set of shelves, as you'll see here in a little bit, which was actually part of another project that I was going to do, but I couldn't get the legs to work right, and that's really hard to explain without explaining what the model was that I was going to be building. But anyway, so I ended up using the cabinet from, it was a little like an entertainment center type of thing, but I ended up not doing it, and so I ended up just using the entertainment center part minus the legs for a set of shelves that are going to be up on the wall. You'll see here in a minute. And probably would have made this a lot better right here with the lathe if I had glued it in place, but I didn't want to glue it. I wanted to be able to take the piece out and put something else in maybe later on, or not have anything in there if I didn't want to for whatever reason. But anyway, as you can see, it doesn't really turn when it's in place, and it keeps falling out. So But I think eventually at this point here, I've decided I'm just going to put it there and come back to it later. Since it's not turning, I'll come back to it later and try and get it fixed after the glue's all dried and everything like that. So anyway, back to the bench in the back. Here I'm putting glue on the feet. And while that's gluing, I'm going to take all the little tools and start putting them on the bench just arbitrarily. Nothing really, no reason. Oh, I forgot to take the barcode off of that one. I didn't paint any of the tools, and I was going to sand the bottom of the level, but I didn't do that. Put the chisel on the lathe. And the hammer on the table. And the other hammer. And there's one of the planes. And the other plane. Actually, I think that was a chisel. Nope, there's the other chisel. And at this point, I'm getting the auger. I was trying to get going through all my little tools that I made and decide which one I wanted to put there. That was a little auger I made. So now I've got the shelf. This is the shelf that I decided I was going to use. And I debated where I was going to put it and how high I was going to put it. And I go back and forth several times, and that's where I end up putting it, is right where I'm at, right there. And the ceiling, the roof line there is 8 feet, and I'm going to end up putting it, 8 inches, but 8 feet. And so I end up putting it in that spot 6 inches or 6 feet up, so it would be at eye level to the average person who would use it. And then I decided, the table here is a little bit too cluttered, so I put some of the bigger items down below, and the shelf that I'm actually going to attach there will hold like scrap pieces of wood and lumber to be used, and that type of thing. So a couple tools that aren't being used at the moment. But I need to also, I'll do this eventually, just put some pegs and stuff up on the wall to hang like the 2-man saw, which I didn't place, and the axes and, things like that as well. That's about where it's going to sit, about centered with the table or the bench, and about, like I said, the top of it will be 6 feet up, 6 inches, like I said. And here I am just marking the height. So now I've got some glue attached to it, and yeah, I could have painted it, but I didn't. It's the shelf unit's made out of pine, so it would have a white look. Or basswood. Basswood was popular in the colonial times too, so which is actually what it's made out of. Here I'm just waiting for the glue to dry a little bit so I can let it go. And I actually ended up putting a little bit of super glue along the top. I didn't show it because it kept kind of sliding down, so I just put a couple drops of super glue there to hold it in place. And the little barrel was actually something my wife had made. But anyway, these are some extra or different angles. Here I actually finally got it to turn, so you can see how it works there. Like I said, these are some extra angles that I took with my camera, my 360 camera. So, and you can see the sawdust that I had sprinkled around just to give it some ambiance, and the extra pieces of wood there on the shelf. So anyway, hope you like this. This was a little fun little project. I'm going to do more with it, throughout time. I'm not going to dwell on this one too much anymore. Maybe I'll come back from time to time and do a few more things to add to it. But anyway, on to something new, and we'll see what happens next. And as always, thank you very much. Leave your comments below and have a better day, as I always say.